Alright, in the last video we touched on 7 chords, and again that doesn't mean 7 different chords, but that means the type of chord, whether it's a major or minor 7th chord. And we're also going to learn a chord called a dominant 7 chord. It's a major chord, but it has an element of a minor in it, so it gives an extra tension that is unlike the other major 7 and the minor 7 chords. So let's get into that. So in the key of A minor, then we've got the same chords as C major. So let's just go through all these chords and see what makes them a major 7 or a minor 7. So that means adding the 7th scale degree of the chord into the chord. So what does that mean? Well, for example, if we have a major chord, we're going to think of the major scale and then take the 7th note in the scale and just add it to the chord. So for C major, we're going to think C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then B is our 7th note, so we're just going to add it to the chord. Now, what do you do with minor chords? Well, with minor chords, we take a minor scale and we count up to the 7th note and then we add it to the chord. So in C major, C, we can add a B to it. So in this open position, we can just take this finger off and it becomes a B. You hear how that's different from this? Now let's take A minor, for example. Let's take A minor. So let's take the A minor scale. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then back to A. So what 3 notes are in A minor? We have the 1st degree, the 3rd degree, and the 5th degree. When I say degree, I just mean the 5th note of the scale. So if we have the 1st, which is A, because it's A minor, and then it goes B, C, C is the 3rd note, so we have A and C, and then it goes D, then E. So now E is the 5th note, so we have A, C, and E. So that makes up our A minor chord. If we play an A minor, we have A, E, A again, we have C here, and then we have another E up top. Now, if we're going to make this a 7 chord, then we need to take the 7th note of the minor scale and just add it to the chord. Okay, so we have A, C, and E so far, which is 1, 3, and 5. So let's figure out first what is the 7th note in the scale. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, and our 7th note is G. So if we add G to the chord of A minor, then we get an A minor 7, because G is the 7th note in the A minor scale. So that's how you make an A minor 7 chord. Now, where is G? Well, we have this open G string. So we play an A minor chord, and we lift our ring finger off, so we just have these 2 fingers. Then we've got this G string ringing open as well. So when we play this chord, we have an A minor 7. So let's hear the difference between an A minor and an A minor 7. Here's an A minor, and here's an A minor 7. Ba, ba, ba. So by taking this formula and applying it to all of the chords, then we can have major and minor 7th chords to play with. So now we might have a kind of an idea of how you make these 7 chords. We have an example of a major 7, and now we have an example of a minor 7. Now, apart from these 2 examples, there's also one more type of 7 chord, and it's called a dominant 7. Now, what's unique about a dominant 7 chord is it takes one element of a major chord and it also takes an element of a minor chord. So just like how we talked about how a major chord is the 1, 3, and the 5, and a minor chord is the 1, the flat 3, and the 5. Well, a dominant 7 takes the major third, so it's built on the same 3 notes, the first, the third, and the fifth of a major chord. But when it comes to the 7th note, it takes the minor 7th. So a dominant 7 chord has the third of a major chord and the 7th of a minor chord. So that gives it a unique tension. So let's look at an example of a dominant 7 chord. Let's take an A chord. We're going to be looking both at an A minor 7 chord and an A major 7 chord, just to give you an idea of how this dominant chord is a mixture between both of these tonalities. So let's take our A minor. And then when we lift our ring finger off, we have an A minor 7. So that's the notes A, C, E, and G. So in A, C, E, and G, we have our 1, we have our flat 3, we have a 5, and we also have a flat 7, which is characteristic of the minor 7 sound. Then we take an A major 7. Let's first look at an A major chord. So we have our 1, which is A. We have our 5, which is E. We have our 1, A again. And then we have this C sharp, which is the third of A major. And then we have another E, which is the 5th. So that's just a regular A major chord. Now what is the 7th note of the A major scale? The 7th note of the A major scale is A flat. So we can find that note here on the 1st fret of the 3rd string. So if we just take this chord and we take our ring finger off and put our index finger there, then we have an A major 7 chord. Now an A major 7 chord is made up of the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. So a dominant 7 chord has the 1, the 3, the 5, and the flat 7 from the minor chord. So let's get our 1, 3, and 5 first. We've got our 1, A. We've got our 5, which comes after that, which is E. And then we've got another A, and then we have our C sharp, which is the 3rd, and then E on the top. So what is the minor 7th? The minor 7th was the note G. So if we take this ring finger off and we just play these 2 notes here and leave this open G string, then we have this sound. Do you hear that tension, that extra? It's not just a major chord. It's not a minor chord. It's a. That is what we call a dominant 7 chord. Now in the key of C, there's 3 major chords and there's 3 minor chords. Now the 1st and the 4th are major chords. They can be played with a major 7, but the 5th chord, the G, is a dominant 7. It has a flattened 7th, and all of the minor chords are minor 7 chords. So the most important chord shapes to learn for learning these major 7ths, these minor 7ths, and dominant 7th chords are this E shape along with the E minor shape and this A shape and the A minor shape. The reason for that is because all of the bar chords use these 2 shapes. In preparation for our next song, we're going to learn 4 chords. We're going to learn A minor 7, E minor 7, D minor 7, and G dominant 7. So these 4 chords sound like this: A minor 7, E minor 7, D minor 7, and G dominant 7. So let's look at our 3 minor chords to start off with. Now we just learned this A minor 7 chord. We take this A minor shape and we lift the ring finger off so that we're playing this open G string. And there's our A minor 7 chord. Now let's look at the E minor 7. Let's take a regular E minor chord. And we're just going to lift this finger off. So instead of it being this E note, it's going to be this open D string. So we're just fretting one finger, the 2nd fret of the 5th string. This might be the easiest chord. E minor 7. E minor, E minor 7. Let's look at the D minor chord. Let's take our D minor. Now for the D minor, what we're going to do is we're going to take this note on the 3rd fret and it's going to come to the 1st fret of the 2nd string. So instead of being like this, we're just going to have our index finger barred over the 1st fret of the first 2 strings, and then our middle finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and we're playing the thinnest 4 strings. So there we have it. We have our 3 minor 7 chords of the key in A minor. One more chord we need to learn to play this next song though is the G7. Now that's the G dominant 7. When we talk about a G dominant 7, you can just call it a G7. When you're talking about a major 7, you call it a major 7. Call it a minor 7, a minor 7. And a dominant 7 is called just a 7. So the letter followed by 7. That means dominant 7. So we're going to look at a G7. Now let's look at the bar chord form of G, not this open G. But you remember this F chord that we played? Well, we're going to look at this and we're going to slide it up 2 frets. So this is our G in bar chord form. The only difference is we're going to take our pinky finger and we're going to just take it off and play the note on the 3rd fret with that bar. Now that might be quite difficult to do, but give it a try. So that's how you play a G7. You just bar and you've got these 2 fingers here. Your index finger is barring the 3rd fret. Your ring finger is on the 5th fret of the 5th string. And then you're playing the 3rd fret of the 4th string with this same barring finger. This can be quite difficult to get, especially at first. And then your middle finger is on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And then you're barring the rest on the 3rd fret. So with those chords, this A minor 7, E minor 7, D minor 7 and G7, we're going to be able to play our next song. So check out the next video and I'll show you how to play Ain't No Sunshine using these 4 chords.